What is up everybody, my name is Tommy T9 and welcome to the top 10 tips of surviving when getting started in State of Decay 2. Now I was lucky enough to get hands on with this game courtesy of Xbox here in the UK, plus I also had the chance to sit down with Richard Foge. Now he's the design director at Undead Labs and the best possible person to get the inside scoop on what we need to do to survive the zombie apocalypse world of State of Decay 2. Now all of the footage included in this video is exclusively captured by myself on Xbox One, but I do need to point out that it is still pre-beta, so by no means is the finished product. Not only are you getting the best inside info right here, you're also getting exclusive in-game footage that you will not see anywhere else. So if you're hyped for State of Decay 2, make sure to drop a like on this video and also share it with all of your friends who will be coming on the journey of survival with you. But maybe don't share it too far, because you don't want everyone knowing all of the best secrets now, do you? So what is State of Decay 2? Well, it's the follow-up to the original State of Decay that released in 2013 on Xbox 360, and it's a zombie survival game releasing on both Xbox One and PC. Set in an open-world environment 1 year from today. The dead have risen and civilization has fallen. Yes, the emergency services, military, and all of the people that you would normally count on and turn to have been wiped out by the zombie hordes, and now humanity stands on the brink of extinction. So it is up to you to gather survivors, build your base and community, scavenge for whatever you can find, and then manage those resources accordingly, protect those that want to live and fight alongside you, and ultimately survive. Luckily, this time round, you can do this alongside 3 friends or players in online co-op, fighting and surviving, stronger together. Now each character that you create has specific skills and an RPG progression, improving what they are capable of in the world and also positioning them to strengthen and lead communities. But beware, if they get bitten or do not make it back from a mission or scavenger run, they will be lost forever and could come back to haunt you as they join the ranks of the undead. Not only that, the choices you make with your characters in-game can have long-lasting consequences, so how you decide to survive will be key in defining who you are and who you and your community will become. So you know what the game is going to throw at you. It is now time to understand the top 10 tips of how to survive direct from the design director himself, Richard Foge. Tip number 1, it's the radio. So the radio can be used at any time by your survivors, and it's the perfect tool for calling for help. You can volunteer your services, you can find nearby resources or survivors who may be in need of your help, you can also locate plague hearts, and also you can give yourself some helpful hints if you do get stuck and do not know what to do next. All in all, the radio will be key to your survival, so do not be afraid to use it at any point. It could save your life. Tip number 2, bring a follower. Now this will be key as you get used to the game and especially useful when you're playing in solo. If you're in co-op, you'll have up to 3 other players with you to support you as the zombie horde closes in, or if you're trapped in a corner with no easy way out. But in solo, that help is not on hand, so make sure when heading out of your base for each mission, or even if you're just wandering to see what you can find or scavenge, take a fellow community member with you and get them to follow you, but choose wisely. You want to make sure that the right person you take with you is up to the task at hand.
Watch your goddamn targets!
Tip number 3, choosing the right base. Now setting up a base for your community to build, survive and thrive on is a huge decision to make in State of Decay 2. Be aware that each base may have unique facilities, so don't just judge them purely on how many facility slots it may have available. You may find that some bases have unique built-in facilities that you will not get in other bases. It may also, with this, save you a huge amount of time and resources if you had to build them yourself, so really be sure that the base you choose is right for what you're trying to achieve. Each base will provide resources, house a number of community members, offer medical treatment if you have an infirmary on hand, it will store supplies and vehicles, and so much more. So make the decision wisely on where to set up base. The first is not always maybe the best. Tip number 4, stock up before heading out. Now it may sound simple, but choose your supplies wisely before leaving on a mission. Sometimes when you get in the flow, the small things can be forgotten, and the last thing you need to do is run out of ammo or medical supplies when the zombies come hunting for that fresh meat that you supply them. Now remember, it's an apocalypse out there, and no matter how good you think you are, your supplies will be your saviour time and time again. So choose the right backpack and pack it wisely. Make sure if you have a follower or friends with you that they also fully equip themselves correctly to tackle the mission ahead.
Problems, but we made better music than anybody else. It's a proven fact.
Tip number 5 is all about outposts. You have your base, but you can also then build outposts within the area, and once again you need to be careful in which you choose. Strategy will come into play here, as it's the ongoing benefits of these outposts that will be key to progressing your survival in the world. Not only will they offer you resources and a place for your community to utilise, they will also be key for you personally, as at each outpost you can open up your supply locker to change or equip new gear and items, but you can also change survivor whilst at an outpost, which will definitely be essential on many an occasion in State of Decay 2.
We need all of you to stay strong out there. Do not despair. Red Talon has not forgotten you. Red Talon needs a better setup. The signal's always dropping out.
Please tell me you haven't forgotten what we talked about.
All clear.
Tip number 6, and we are talking vehicles. Now each time you head out on a simple scavenge run for resources or on the next big mission, grab yourself a vehicle and utilise it. Not only are they going to protect you far better from any roaming zombies, as you now have the ability to run them down or even use the vehicle door as a weapon, but when it comes to gathering those resources and items, the trunk of the car will also hold plenty more, meaning each time you head out with the car, the return on your time of scavenging will be hugely increased. Each outpost has a number of parking slots available, so also keep an eye out for new vehicles, as they can be damaged and destroyed whilst you are out and about. So don't get too comfortable, because these zombies also adapt pretty quickly, especially if you lose, say, the door of the car. Just be aware, it might not always be as safe as you once thought.
I'm tired.
Tip number 7 works perfectly in line with vehicles, and it's all about the gas can. Now if you are taking a car or vehicle out of your base, you want to make sure you have a gas can with you as well. There is no guarantee that you're going to find a new one whilst out and about, so if you do need to refill the tank, or if your vehicle gets destroyed and you need to find a new one, there is no guarantee that there will be fuel in it, so always having this in your bag could be a lifesaver. You also never know that if a basic supply run turns into something new, there's lots of surprising opportunities in State of Decay 2, so the last thing you or your community needs is to have all of the resources that you've gathered to be lost due to not being able to carry them all or get the vehicle back to your base.
Zombie, not too far away.
Tip number 8, and we are talking specialisation of survivors. Now as your community grows, each member will have specific traits or skills that you need to monitor, adapt and grow to make them the best possible member of your community that they can be. Plus it's also essential to try and build a community that can specialise in multiple skills. These could be anything from their cardio and fitness, their wits and ability to search for items quicker, how they prefer to fight, are they trained medically, or of course, how good a shot are they. Build these skills for each community member and make sure that as soon as you have maxed out a skill, you specialise it as soon as possible, as upgraded skills can make a big difference in combat and survivability. Next up is tip number 9, and we are talking community safety. Now when it comes to your community, you always need to have your eye on many places at once, even when out on mission. If, let's say, you've got a follower with you, they may get fatigued easier than you if carrying a really big heavy backpack, or they might get stuck in a fight with a zombie whilst you're off searching in a separate place. This is where skills and specialisation can become key. But remember, you are responsible for not just yourself but everyone in your community, whether they are close by or back at your home base. Noise can also play a big part in the safety and survival. Remember, a gunshot will attract zombies to it, and if let's say you start upgrading your base or outpost and then head off with no one really left to defend it, all that noise from building could bring a heap of trouble the way of survivors who are great at building but not very good at defending themselves. So always keep an eye on your friends, followers, community, and base and outposts. The threat level indicators will give you an indication as to how much danger could be around them. You are responsible for them, so keep them all safe. And the final tip is tip number 10, and it's all about resting up. Yes, every survivor has their limits, so make sure at each outpost you have enough beds available for each of them. Inactive community members can recover from fatigue or injury when not being used if these are available. Plus, I would highly recommend building an infirmary to help heal any wounds received that are not life-threatening and increase the recovery times of anyone on site. Don't forget, if your survivor is tired, you can switch them out for another member at any base or outpost, making sure that you are best set for the task or mission at hand. So there you have it, these are the top 10 tips for surviving in State of Decay 2 as you start out on your journey. I've got to say a huge thank you to Richard Foge for taking the time out to share his thoughts on this, and of course a huge thanks to Microsoft for getting me hands-on with the game prior to its release. State of Decay 2 is available on Xbox One and PC. It will be part of Xbox Play Anywhere and is set to release on the 22nd of May 2018, but if you do pre-order the Ultimate Edition, you can get access to the game 4 days earlier on the 18th of May. My name has been Tommy999. I do hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, and I cannot wait to speak to you again in the next video here on the channel.
No more army, huh? So, how do we survive now?
Hey, come on. As long as we're together, we can make it through anything.